Lust is not attraction. Lust is consumption. It is the moment desire stops seeing a human being and starts seeing an object. And once the mind learns to consume people, it forgets how to love them. That is the quiet destruction nobody talks about. Because lust does not announce itself as slavery. It comes disguised as pleasure, as fantasy, as freedom, as something harmless. But slowly, without permission, it begins rearranging the architecture of your mind. You stop seeing beauty as something to admire. You see it as something to possess. You stop seeing people as souls. You see them as stimulation. You stop asking, who is this person? And start asking, what can this person make me feel? That is where the corruption begins, not in the body, in perception. Because lust is not merely the hunger for pleasure, it is the collapse of reverence. It is desire stripped of patience, intimacy stripped of meaning, beauty stripped of mystery. It is the animal inside man declaring itself king, while the soul goes silent. And the modern world understands this better than you do. That is why lust is everywhere, not accidentally, industrially. Your attention is being hunted. Your impulses are being studied. Your loneliness is being monetized. Entire systems exist to keep you wanting, clicking, scrolling, watching, imagining, returning. Because a person controlled by appetite is predictable, and predictable people are profitable. The modern machine does not need you fulfilled. It needs you hungry, forever hungry. That is the nature of lust. It promises satisfaction while multiplying emptiness. You can feed it for hours and still feel starving afterward. Because lust does not nourish the soul, it drains it. And every time you surrender to it unconsciously, you teach your mind a lesson. That discomfort should be escaped. That loneliness should be numbed. That desire should be obeyed. That another person's body exists for your internal vacancy. This is why lust becomes dangerous. Not because desire itself is evil. Desire is human. Attraction is human. Beauty is human. The problem begins when desire loses discipline, when attraction loses respect, when beauty becomes something you consume instead of something you honor. A man who cannot control his lust does not simply have a private weakness. He has a distorted relationship with reality. Because lust trains the eyes before it captures the body. It teaches you to scan instead of see, to compare instead of connect, to fantasize instead of understand. And eventually, real intimacy becomes difficult. Real people become too slow, too complex, too human. A real person has moods, boundaries, fears, history, contradictions, a soul. But fantasy asks nothing from you. Fantasy does not require patience, conversation, responsibility, vulnerability, courage. And that is why people addicted to fantasy slowly become incapable of presence. They are physically in the room, but psychologically elsewhere. Always imagining, always comparing, always chasing a feeling reality cannot compete with. This is one of the great tragedies of modern life. A generation with infinite access to bodies, but a shrinking capacity for intimacy. people are overstimulated and underconnected, surrounded by images but starving for touch that actually means something. And then they wonder why love feels impossible. Love feels impossible because lust has made the soul impatient. Love requires slowness. Lust demands immediacy. Love asks you to know someone. Lust asks you to use them. Love deepens with truth. Lust dies the moment reality appears. That is why lust always needs novelty, a new image, a new body, a new fantasy, a new chase. Because lust cannot survive stillness. Stillness exposes it. Stillness reveals that underneath the craving, there is often not passion, but pain, loneliness, boredom, anxiety, insecurity, unprocessed emotion. A life without purpose looking for a temporary escape hatch. This is the first step to destroying lust. You must stop asking, "What do I want?" and start asking, "What am I trying not to feel?" Because many people are not truly lustful. They are lonely. They are stressed. They are ashamed. They are empty. They are using pleasure as anesthesia. And no man becomes free until he stops mistaking numbness for peace. So how do you destroy lust? Not by hating desire. That only makes you divided against yourself. Not by pretending beauty is not beautiful. That makes you dishonest. Not by shaming yourself every time temptation appears. Shame often feeds the very cycle you are trying to escape. You destroy lust by restoring order, by putting the higher self back on the throne. The body has desires, the mind has fantasies, but neither should rule the soul. The first discipline is attention, because lust begins where attention lingers. You cannot always control the first glance, but you can control the second altar you build in your mind. A thought may enter, but you decide whether it becomes a temple. That distinction matters. Freedom is not never being tempted. Freedom is being tempted and still remaining sovereign. So guard your attention like it is sacred, because it is. What you repeatedly look at becomes what you repeatedly think about. What you repeatedly think about becomes what you repeatedly desire. What you repeatedly desire becomes what you slowly become. The second discipline is environment. Stop pretending you are strong while building your life around temptation. That is not strength. That is arrogance. If certain apps weaken you, remove them. If certain accounts corrupt your mind, unfollow them. If certain habits always lead you back to the same place, interrupt the ritual. Most people do not fall suddenly. They follow patterns. Same room, same time, same boredom, same loneliness, same phone, same secrecy. Break the pattern and you weaken the impulse. Lust thrives in darkness, isolation, and repetition. So bring light to all three. Change your space. Move your body. Leave the room. Call someone. Walk outside. Turn your phone off before the hour that usually defeats you. Do not negotiate with the version of you that only appears when you are tired and alone. That version is not wise. It is hungry. The third discipline is purpose. A purposeless man will always be vulnerable to low pleasures. Because if your life has no mountain, your mind will crawl toward mud. Human beings need direction. Energy must go somewhere. Desire is not destroyed by suppression. It is transformed through devotion. Build something. Train. Write. Pray. Study. Create. Serve. Become useful. Become dangerous to your own weakness. The energy that once went into fantasy must be redirected into formation, into becoming, into making your life so meaningful that cheap stimulation begins to feel insulting. That is when you know you are healing. Not when temptation disappears, but when temptation starts looking beneath you. The fourth discipline is reverence. You must learn to see people again, not as bodies passing through your imagination, as entire worlds. Every person you reduce to an object is someone's child, someone's memory, someone's heartbreak, someone's prayer, someone's private universe. Lust simplifies people. Reverence restores their complexity. When you train yourself to see the humanity in others, lust loses some of its power, because it is harder to consume what you truly respect. The fifth discipline is patience. Modern lust is accelerated desire. Everything is immediate. Immediate access, immediate stimulation, immediate fantasy, immediate release. But the soul is not built for endless immediacy. The soul needs waiting. Waiting creates value. Waiting creates tension. Waiting creates meaning. A world without restraint becomes a world without sacredness. So practice restraint, not because you hate pleasure, because you refuse to be governed by it. There is a difference between enjoying life and being dragged through life by your appetites. One is freedom, the other is slavery with better marketing. The sixth discipline is honesty. You must tell the truth about your cycle. Not the polished truth, the real one. What triggers you? When are you weakest? What emotion comes before the urge? What lie do you tell yourself right before you fall? I'll only look for a second. This doesn't matter. I already messed up anyway. I'll stop tomorrow. These are not thoughts. They are trap doors. Learn them. Name them. Expose them. A named enemy is easier to fight than a shadow you refuse to describe. The seventh discipline is recovery without collapse. If you fail, do not turn failure into identity. One fall is a moment. Shame tries to make it a personality. Do not let it. Get up quickly. Study what happened. Remove what enabled it. Return to discipline. The goal is not perfection. The goal is transformation. A man becomes free not because he never falls, but because he stops building a home in the place he fell. And understand this, lust is not destroyed in one dramatic moment. It is starved through repeated refusal. Every time you say no, you weaken the old pathway. Every time you redirect your attention, you reclaim a piece of your mind. Every time you choose purpose over impulse, you teach your body who is in command. At first, it feels impossible. Then it feels difficult. Then it feels natural. Then one day you realize you are no longer the same person. Not because desire vanished, but because desire became obedient. That is mastery, not numbness, not hatred of the body, not fear of attraction. Mastery is when the lower self still speaks, but the higher self decides. And eventually, you begin to experience beauty differently. You no longer need to possess everything beautiful. You can witness it, respect it, let it exist without turning it into fantasy. That is a higher form of seeing. The lustful man sees beauty and becomes restless. The disciplined man sees beauty and remains whole. That is freedom. Because the deepest cure for lust is not disgust, it is wholeness. A whole person does not need to consume others to escape themselves. A whole person does not confuse stimulation with intimacy. A whole person can desire without being devoured by desire. That is what you are after. Not repression, integration. Not shame, sovereignty. Not the destruction of your humanity, the purification of it. Because lust is not defeated by becoming less human. It is defeated by becoming fully human again. Present, disciplined, reverent, awake, able to see another person not as an answer to your craving, but as a soul standing before you. And maybe that is the complete destruction of lust. Not the death of desire, but the resurrection of sight. To see clearly again. To love without consuming. To admire without possessing. To feel attraction without surrendering your throne. To walk through a world engineered to weaken you and still remain inwardly free. That is rare. That is power. That is the path. And it begins with one decision. Stop feeding what is destroying you. Stop calling slavery pleasure. Stop calling emptiness freedom. Stop giving your soul to something that only leaves you hollow. Because lust will take everything you give it and still ask for more. But discipline gives everything back. Your focus, your confidence, your clarity, your dignity, your ability to love, your ability to see. And when a person finally reclaims their eyes, they reclaim their life. That is how lust dies. Not by force, by starvation. Not by hatred, by reverence. Not by fear, by becoming so whole that cheap desire no longer knows where to attach itself.